What we're going to look at today are these things, feet and the ankle as well. If we think about the sensors in the body that help us stand up and move around, proprioceptive sensors, about 70 to 80% of them are in the ankle, which is a hell of a lot. We know where we are in space standing way better than we do anything else. But the thing is, when we're wearing boots, especially like this big things I wear and shoes and stuff like that, we're blocking off a lot of those signals. And so if you think of like running shoes and all this kind of stuff, they've developed all these padding and sort of support in running shoes. But the thing that you find is people get more injuries with them. It's just how it is. And now they're telling people to walk, be barefoot more, or kind of like wear barefoot shoes. You know, that's a way of selling them a shoes rather than being barefoot. The good thing is in yoga, we kind of like don't have stuff on our feet, unless I'm doing yoga outside. You know, if anybody's come along and seen me, we'll do yoga outside. But even then, when we're doing yoga, we're in this kind of industrialized kind of place, isn't it? You know, everything's been flattened and paved and everything's very predictable. So you can be very disconnected from your feet. So today I thought what we'd do is get more connected to our feet and our ankles. And throughout the practice, come back to these kind of things, the feet and the connection that they have to the ground, because they're the part that has evolved in us over 2 million years, probably, maybe a little bit more, to stand on the ground. Our hands aren't kind of designed to press into the ground. Our feet are. And so today we're going to like celebrate the feet. Let's get going with that. First thing I think we should do is to give our own feet a little bit of a massage. Now, somebody once said to me, they were in Texas, and when they found out that I taught yoga, they said that one of the things that happens in like Houston, Texas, huge city, kind of like if you think of London, but in Texas, kind of styles, everything's bigger. Every yoga studio, either side, had like a pedicure place for your feet because people noticed how bad their feet looked in yoga. You know, like I kind of look at mine and go, yeah, I wish there was a pedicure place either side of this place. There isn't, you know. I think we should care less what our feet look like and more about kind of getting a connection to them. So let's give our feet a little bit of a massage. I'm not going to ask we're not going to touch our faces afterwards, so you can like go for it. So you've got the archway here. If anybody suffers from plantar fasciitis, like painful feet from standing, usually the pain starts from about here in the heel bone. And there, if you lengthen this fascial fiber towards the toes, it'll help to alleviate that a little bit. You've also got all the toes, which, you know, if you can spread them. Massage on feet for people who have sort of diabetic conditions, really good because, you know, you're helping to promote more circulation in there. Where did I get that blister from? That's kind of interesting. Can't bear touching their feet. Do you? What I would then say, you're wearing shoes or socks right now? Okay. What I would suggest then, plant your feet on the floor and just feel into your feet. And just to be aware now that is not, thank you for bringing it up because it is not uncommon to feel like touching your feet is something that you don't want to do. It's, you know, the feet live in shoes all the time. They're very far away from our heads. And honestly, if you feel like that, please don't look at anybody else. If you like that, it's fine to just say, I don't want to do that. But what I want you to do is just to feel for just bringing your feet on the floor and sort of just gently feeling the connection between your feet and the ground. Okay. Everybody else, if you love touching your feet, you touch your feet. If you don't love touching your feet, then don't touch your feet and sort of just have this idea of connecting with them into the ground. If you like touching your feet and you've done one foot, let's move on to the other one. It's going to be kind of different. Is anybody else like that? You feel it swollen. So what do you feel like when you look at them, feel them, touch them? Does it painful? Yeah. Again, for you, maybe just very gentle hands on them, maybe just making that connection with them of like, they need something, you know, and not disconnecting from them. It's very easy to disconnect from places that have had injuries or aren't performing the way we kind of think they're going to perform. I know that because I've done it myself with pretty much every injury I've had. It's that kind of normal nature of like, I want to kind of like not think about it. But this idea of connecting with them and going, well, yeah, they're going to kind of hold us up, you know. But be gentle with them as much as possible. Yeah. Especially if they're swollen, especially if they're tender. And if you don't have little thinking about feet, again, just have that connection with them and move away from the idea that they're feet. Being mine are really weird as well. Like, I don't look at them. I only look at them in yoga, you know. Like every time I look at them, it's like you discover something. Like it's weird, smelly feet. There's another one. Why do our feet smell? And we think of it as like an ew kind of thing. Like when our feet smell, and we're like, look, why does our feet smell? Our feet smell because as we walk around, we're leaving our scent in places, and it used to discourage predators because they became sort of like, you know, as we became dominant, we could put a spear into something. They learned to look at it, associate that smell with like, I'm going to get a spear put in me. And so our feet actually, in making this smell, it's actually to keep predators away. So the more your feet smell, the more you keep predators away. There's no predators here. Look, there he is. Yeah, try it at home. There you go. Walk barefoot. Oh my god. What was I talking about? We're talking about feet. Let's bring the ankles on the floor. And just roll the ankles. So move away from the soles of the feet here and just move on to the ankles. Like I said earlier, about 70 to 80% of the proprioceptive sensors in the body are in the ankle, which accounts for the fact that why if you like hurt your ankle, you're like really feel it and your whole body sort of compensates for it for a long time. Maybe hearing clicking, I heard a click there. That was a good one. Surprised mine hasn't clicked yet. I'm making circles. I'm trying to make the circle as big as you can. Like I'm exaggerating it here. And then go the other way. Going the other way now. And then flap them back and forth. If you feel like you've got very poor ankle flexibility, especially in this pointing, flointing the toes forward, bam. I think ballerinas call that flointing, I think. I've never done ballet, so like, but one of the best things you can do with that is actually swim with flippers on. That will give you amazing flexibility in your ankles. Swimming with flippers. Point them, pull them in, point them, pull them in. Well, that's clicking. That one. I was clicking. Clicking is normal. I think I've talked about clicking before in various sort of classes. As the weather sort of changes, we click more. And summer people click more, and also when it's really cold in winter, we click more. And the reason is because those types of weather are high pressure systems. And the higher the air pressure, the more nitrogen dissolves into our blood. And then that nitrogen comes out in the joints. And it's the little gas bubbles that we're pushing around. There's also tendons that move as well. If you hear like a snapping sound, like an elastic band, that's probably a tendon moving. But a lot of these noises, there's gas bubbles in the. If you have a frosty morning in the next few weeks, see if your joints pop. They should pop a bit more than usual. Relax your legs, roll your feet in, roll your feet out. Joint clicking is called crepitus, and I always think it's kind of like the oldest sounding name you can think of, isn't it? Your crepitus, but as long as there's no pain associated with it, it's like just normal, just what we do. And stop. Let's do Baddha Konasana with shoulders of feet together. With Baddha Konasana, you have your soles of your feet and you're pressing your balls of your feet together, you're pressing your heels together. If this position sucks, you can put blocks underneath here to like hold your knees up. Also, you can bring your feet further forward. As you bring them more further forward, the balls won't touch. So you have to press the heels together, but you can't. Yeah, that doesn't work. So, if you feel like that's too tight, then you can bring them further forward and just press the heels together. And also, you can support them either one side or both sides with blocks. Because what tends to happen, especially with hypermobile people, is that they just drag down. So again, put blocks in there if you're feeling it. Otherwise, it's a good exercise because you're getting external rotation of the hips here, you're pressing your feet together, and you see that arch in your foot, if you want to have a look at your arch in your foot. So let's do some seated side bends from here. Inhale, arms come up. Left hand comes down. Right hand, we're going to reach over as far as we can, keeping this sit bone here pressed down. You might find that you can even almost come down onto your forearm or your elbow here. So very deep forward bend, pressing the feet together, lifting and spreading the toes. Inhale, come back up, all the way up. Exhale, drop the shoulders down. Then inhale again, lift the arms up. Right hand goes down this time, left hand comes up and over. Keep pressing the feet together if that works for you. Inhale, come back up again. Relax the arms. Let's do that again, but this time we're going to go kind of one side, we're going to come over to the other side. We're going to do it like a repeat motion a few times. So inhale, arms come up. Left hand comes down, right arm comes up and over. Stay here for a couple of breaths, maybe 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale back into this upright position. Exhale, go the other direction. Inhale back up. Exhale the other way. Inhale up and exhale the other way. One more. Inhale up. Exhale the other way. Inhale up and exhale the other way. It's the last one. Inhale, come up. Exhale, let the shoulders come down. Inhale, reach up again. Exhale, come forward. As far as feels comfortable with this. You can use your hands on the floor to sort of pull yourself forwards here as well in the forward bend if it feels good. But remember, forward bend can be up here or down here or here or here or like further getting chest down on the floor. It doesn't have to be kind of like a big forward bend or a little forward bend. You get to choose the forward bend that works for you. Inhale, up we come. Next thing we're going to do is bridge. Everybody's got a favorite kind of bridge, so I'm not going to really kind of like get too complicated about what kind of bridge you want to do. But feel your feet in bridge. Feel that connection. Do you press more through the heels of your feet, or do you press more through the fronts of your feet in bridge? That's all we're going to play with. So we're going to get into bridge. Glitter everywhere today. Oh, I think there was a birthday party or something. There's tons of glitter on the floor. Set yourself up for bridge, knees up towards the ceiling. Relax your hands, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. I smashed something there for a second. Feel grounded through your feet. Lift and spread the toes ever so gently, because that kind of helps strengthen the knees as well. Big breath in, send the breath down into your feet. Exhale, curl the low back up, mid back up, and then come into a bridge. We're going to stay in bridge now for a few breaths, but feel free to come down at any point if you feel like, I've had enough. If you want to be quite advanced here, take a big breath in and feel for lifting the chest up towards the face. And then on the exhale, send the knees away from your hips. You're really lifting the hips up a little bit. Remember, you can come down when you're ready. If not, still feel for pressing through your feet. Feeling, where do you press? Is the inside of your feet, the outside of the feet? Is it more through the heels, more through the balls of the feet? And slowly come down with that. Bring your knees up to your chest and slowly rock from side to side a little bit. And then roll over onto one side. And then sit up for a second, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Unless you already kind of know, if I say single leg bridge lifts, but I want to demonstrate first so everybody's on the same page. So bridge with one leg sounds complicated. I'm going to demo it first. We're going to do 5 when we're there. So this is what it looks like. You set up for bridge like you normally do. You bring one foot to the middle and then cross the other leg over. If you're really flexible, you might be able to cross that leg over twice. Don't ask me to do that. Keeping everything relaxed except your feet. Lift and spread the toes. Big breath in. Exhale, come up. Inhale, come down. And we're going to do that 5 times. And then swap over. Do the other side. So, set yourself up for one-legged bridge. You get to choose which leg first. I don't know what it's called in Sanskrit. I don't even know if it is called anything in Sanskrit. It's funny, isn't it? Bring one leg to the middle, cross the other leg over the top. Decide if you want to do that second cross thing, which is like maybe another life for me. Relax everything, like your hands, your elbows, your shoulders. Breath in, send a breath into the foot. Exhale, curl the hips up, lift your hips up off the floor. Inhale, bring your hips down, super, super slow. Once they're all the way down, exhale, up you come again. Inhale, down you go. Exhale up. Inhale, come down and do 3 more. Cross your feet and then set up and do the other side. Same thing. 5 on this side. Inhaling to the feet. Exhale, lift up. Inhale on the way down. When you've done the 5, here's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out which side felt like it was the weakest and do 5 on that side. Whichever side felt like it was the weakest, maybe it was the wobbliest going up, wobbliest going down, maybe it just felt like you weren't lifting as high. Whatever it is, do that side. If you both sides, you're like super strong on both sides, pick the opposite side to the hand you're right with. So if you're right-handed, do the left side, vice versa. Boom. Do 5 on that side. And then bring your hips down onto the floor, uncross your legs, give your knees a bit of a wiggle. Lying down twist. Here's how we're going to do. Press your feet into the floor, lift your hips up, take your hips to the left about 2 or 3 inches, bring them down. Then take your knees over to the right. If you want to see what that looks like, have a look at what I'm doing. Staying here for a few breaths. Then bring your knees to the middle. Lift your hips up, scoot them to the right 2 or 3 inches, bring them down. Knees go over to the left. Bring your knees up to the middle and then rock about on your back for a little bit. Rock over onto your favorite side and stand up. Is it just me that's yawning, or is there other people yawning too? It's okay if you're yawning, but like I feel like I'm yawning. In yoga, we do a lot of Warrior One. Reminder what Warrior One looks like. Warrior Two, there's this one, boom. But there's also Warrior Three, which you don't kind of do very often. It's kind of like a Warrior One, but the whole point of it is that you end up balancing on one leg. And there's different stages of it, so probably I'll go through the stages of it first. Stage 1 of Warrior 3 is to bring most of your weight onto this front leg and sort of be up onto the toes of the back leg. This is kind of like stage 1. It really strengthens the ankle and the foot when you're doing this. It is okay to lean forward because you're throwing your weight forwards here. So let's practice this first step of it first. I was starting to go like this. So we're basically bringing our weight forward. So it's mostly on this front leg. Feel the muscles that are used to support you. It will be a lot of this one here. The glute medius that comes across here and is used to stop the leg from doing this. It's funny here, if you look down at your ankle, you'll see your feet and your ankles doing all kinds of like stuff to hold you up here. Muscle movements are happening a lot here. Stage 2 of Warrior 3 is to actually come either onto the toes of the back foot, or you start lifting that back leg up and you're tipping forward. You can bring your arms to the side like airplanes. You can even make airplane noises if you're. But also, here's the thing: you can use like a thing. That's also good too. And you might find you don't really need a huge amount of sort of balance on this. Yeah. Yeah. How far does you feel you can go? I mean, the whole idea of it is they ends up almost being like a single-legged, like deadlift. Yeah, like this. And you can bring your arms out to the side, or you can be balancing on something here. Then the final part of this trick is from this position here, is that you straighten up your body, bring the back leg down as your upper body comes up, and you bring it onto the floor. So it's like a single leg deadlift. Let's play with that again. You come into this forward place here, arms can be out to the side, and then you come back up. Play your foot on the floor. Just have a jiggle of the hips a little bit. Who found that hard? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I'm glad somebody else admitted to that because I can like go, yeah, it was hard. Now we're going to move on to the other side. Chances are you all pick the strong side first, so this is where it becomes even more fun. Remember, it starts off almost like a warrior one. You're just bringing your weight onto this front leg, teaching it to sort of like hold you up. You will feel muscles start to go in the leg because it's working out how best to hold you up. Stage 2, come up onto the back toes, or maybe even lean forward a bit more. Again, you can use balance if you want here. You can even bring your arms out to the side, make airplane noises. Doesn't help, but. And then to come up out of this, you bring the upper body up and the back leg down simultaneously. Let's do that again. So the whole starts off by stabilizing this front leg, maybe just bouncing on the back toe, and then leaning forward. And then to come up, do you like that? Where do you feel it? Yeah, it's a good hamstring one, isn't it? Also, it's a great, because a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to kind of lengthen their hamstrings when really they should be strengthening them. This is a great way to open up the back leg, actually, because in this position here, that back leg is generally quite straight, and so you're getting quite a stretch in it, which is good. Let's do it again, since nobody actually has thrown blocks of the air yet. So, step 1, leg back, come into this forward bend, come into this position where you shoot your way forward, almost like you're trying to run forward. This leg here is taking probably 80-90% of the way. You can feel that it's solid. Then keep shifting, come up onto the back toes. It's now taking like 95% of your weight. And then lean forward, back leg comes up, upper body comes down, arms come out to the side. And to come up, back leg comes down, upper body comes up. You can, the maximum sort of way it looks is that you're like, your upper body and your back leg are horizontal to the floor. But like, it doesn't mean you have to be there. You know, this is a good place to start with this. Here. You don't have to be kind of all the way forward. I mean, mirrors are good. Yeah, I should put mirrors up here. What do we need? Zoom's good because you can see yourself. And then you're going, wow, that what it looks like when I'm doing it. So let's do the other side. Again, if you're just dumping your weight into this front leg, that's a good place to start. Come up onto the back toes. feeling like how much weight is in there. The sensors in your ankle are feeding your brain tons of information at this point. And as you start to lean forward, and then come back up. Awesome. Yeah. Almost like this. Yeah. This tiny amount of feedback that we need from something that doesn't move. The other thing that is as well is you've got a horizontal line because our brain works on horizons. We can't see the horizon as well as we once could, but we use this horizon as a balance. If these are off angle, if somebody put that one over there at a bit of an angle, and you walk in the room, you will go like this a little bit because your brain tries to stabilize it, which is why like funny steps and stuff and funny angles when you're walking along a building can make you trip because your brain gets fooled. And also because we walk on flat most of the time, so we're disconnected from our feet. Playing the Warrior One with back toes curled under. So step one back toes curled under. Shoot that back heel back. So this leg gets a bit of a straighten out. Knee over the ankle here. Toes roughly forward. Upper body, so lift that upper body up. You're feeling again some tension in here. Once you're solid, once you feel like your legs are straight, the arms can come up, spiraling the arms up. Now stay here for a few breaths and notice what kind of happens. You might notice that your knee comes in. Usually what happens with people, feel pulling that knee and making sure that knee is over your ankle. You don't want this. This is not good. That's better. Birdwing arms. Bring the elbows in, still in the same leg position. Inhale in, hands come together. Exhale, hands come up. Inhale. Exhale. Feel how much your legs are working here. Feel how much my legs are working here. Let's give our legs a little bit of a break. Come back into a kneeling position. Hands come down, back knee comes down. Don't want to crash on that back knee. Have a look at your back leg and make sure it's actually going straight back. There's a tendency for it to do this. We don't want that. Bring it out the back. Press the top of the foot into the floor unless that's painful, in which case you can do toes under. That's better. Take a big breath in. Shoot the hips forward. Exhale, and then bring the arms up if you feel strong enough to do that. Feel for how strong you feel here. Press this front foot down. Almost like you're trying to lift yourself up. I used to hate it when people used to say that to me. It was like, I want to rest in this pose. But you strengthen by pushing that foot down. Easy twisting lunge, so your hand comes down, and then your other one comes up. So you're turning your chest towards that bent knee. Left hand down, right arm up. Notice here if you're twisting and your foot is coming up. So if this is happening, bring the foot down onto the floor, even if it means taking your foot a little bit wider. Main Coon cat stretch, this hand comes down, both paws on the floor. Drop your chest down towards the floor. Again, notice for this foot lifting up, so you're on the side of it. Bring it flat down on the floor. Do you like this one? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's a powerful one. I like how we say with this one, the sort of idea is that you're bringing your shoulder underneath that bent knee, but we don't have to kind of do that at all. That's sort of what it's preparing you for, but we don't need to worry about it. Child's pose from here. Let's get into a resting pose for a minute. Hips down towards the heels, hands out in front. Again, if you feel like this feels uncomfortable, put a block underneath your chest, or a cushion, or a blanket. Slowly come up out of that one. And let's set up for Warrior One on the other side. Right leg back, left leg forward. Back toes curled under, so the back heel's up. I didn't kind of go through a downward dog here because I think it's better to set up what you're going to do rather than sort of transition into it through a yoga transition. He said, it's just not doing it very well at all. Feel for getting your balance. Feel for pushing down through that front leg, pushing back through that back leg. Then spiral the arms up. Bird wing, elbows come in. Inhale, hands move together. Exhale, hands move away. Lunge, hands come down on the floor. Back knee comes down slowly. Have a think about where your back leg is. Is it out kind of straight out the back? Don't want this, well that. Inhale, arms come up, hips come forward. Easy twisting lunge. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up into the sky. Again, if this left hand in the sky doesn't work, you can bring it down on your hip. But notice this front foot. Is it kind of going up onto one side? If it is, bring it down, take it out to the side. Main coon cat stretch. Judy's favorite. Hands come down. Bring your chest down to the floor. Notice where you're feeling tension here. Breathe into that area. Child's pose. Boom. Back knee comes in. Wide as the mat. Yeah, come down into a comfortable position. Again, remember, if it doesn't feel comfortable, use block or something to make you feel comfortable. Up very slowly and come into a kneeling position. Mm. One of the things that I find a lot in yoga is people ask how to come up from a lunge position. Hey, think about it. Coming up from this position to standing is quite hard because like this leg's kind of like quite far in front, this leg quite far back. But you see people sort of struggle. They'll throw their way forward and do that. There's an easier way. It's called a farmer squat, also known as called a military squat. And what happens is this front leg comes in, so your knee and your ankle are roughly in line with one another. What happens here is as you come up, this leg is almost underneath your hips. You can come up easier. So we're going to play with that. Well, a few times on each side. So come into a lunge position. Bring your front heel so it's roughly in line with your back knee. Like that. Huh? You can bring your back toes under. If you bring your back toes under, you'll find that a little bit easier for you. Like that. From here, push down through that front leg. Does that break it? Do you know what you can do from this position? You can come back down again. No? But set yourself up again, heel with knee, push down, and up you come. It's a lot easier than coming up from this position. Like, whoa, God, that really sucks. Let's do the other side. So come down, heel, knee, underneath one another. Push in, up you come. Right, you can make noises too. Yeah. Easy if you're wearing boots, because farmers tend to wear boots, military wear boots too. The back toes don't get such a kind of a squishing, but we're doing yoga, so back toes always get kind of like a workout anyway. You can come back down from that position. And you can come up. Do one more. Down. And do I find just stupidly hard things to do? Don't like that. Do you not like anything that you find hard? So you like me in that respect. If it's hard, I'm like, I don't like that. If you become a teacher, then you can teach it. Next thing we're going to play with is Hindi squat. So a classic yoga thing, squatting. Easier if you spend most of your life squatting. We don't. We've made a world. I mean, look how many chairs we have here. We don't squat that much. But you can use a chair if you want to help you squat. I'm going to demo with a chair, but you don't have to. I would say, if you feel like your balance is out, use a chair. If not, don't worry about it. Here's what you do. First off is that you just bend the knees. Like this. I don't need a chair for this. With Hindi squat, what happens is that we come up off the back heels. So bend your knees and lift your heels up. If you want to kind of make this, I don't know, more kind of like a functional move, you can have your arms up in front and do this. And then you decide, do I want to go further down? Whoa, that was a good click. If you can get this far down, some people will be able to get their heels on the floor. I don't think it matters. You can. Next stage here is to bring your elbows into your knees. Your hands come together and you're pushing your knees out and squeezing your knees in. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Then, final bit. Can you come up from here without throwing your weight forward? So let's just slowly push your legs. Oh, that's hard. Body weight workout on the legs, really good. Yeah, it's weird. You're used to having your heels down on the floor. Yeah. Also, the heels down on the floor thing is also dependent on your shape of your hip joint as well. That some people's hip joints are more forward so they can keep their heels further down. So I can keep my heels quite low here. But for me, it's because I'm used to squatting with a bar and keeping my heels down. It's sort of bent into shape for me. Not really advisable to do that. Let's do some chill out stuff for a few minutes. It's coming to a warrior two. Again, strong pose for the legs here, but we're not going to stay too long here. Inhale, arms come up. Reverse warrior. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up and over. Notice if your breath is kind of like breathing hard. Take some deep breaths in, oxygenate the body. Leg muscles are massive, they need a lot of oxygen. Inhale back. Exhale, extended warrior variation. So left forearm onto the left thigh. Right arm comes up and over. Head to ankle prep. Left hand on the inside of your left thigh. So press that hand into the thigh. Right hand, either on the chin, on a block, blocks there, or on the floor. But you're pushing this hand in here to stop this knee from caving in. Walk your hands to the middle and turn your feet so they're facing forward. You can bend your knees here, so you're in some kind of forward bend, hands on the floor if possible. And then what we're going to do is rock away from one leg to the other. Straightening one leg, straightening the other one. Big breath in. Exhale. Come up. Warrior two on the other side. So, right toes turn out, left toes turn in. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, drop the shoulders. Reverse warrior. Left hand down, right arm up. Eating. Inhale back to the middle. Extended warrior variation. Right forearm, right thigh. Left hand comes up and over. Bring the hands down onto the floor. Turn your feet facing forward. And let's do that thing where you shift away from one leg to the other. And big breath in. And exhale. Come up out of this, heel toe your way. Coming to mountain pose for a second. Ooh. And let's sit down and do something hard. Ah. When you're sitting down, make sure that your sit bones feel like they're kind of like making contact with the floor. I should probably have a block because my back of my legs are quite tight, but I'm not going to have one. Let's come into a straddle. Not as wide as you can be. Bring it in a little bit. And then I want you to focus on your left leg. Have a look at it. Kind of realize what's it doing. Push that heel forward so that your leg's getting straight and this bit feels like it's flat on the floor, or as much as possible. And press your heel down. You'll feel the muscles starting to switch on. Press in down with that heel. And then let go. Press in again. And then let go. Press in. And then let go. Now, what I want you to do is to look at this foot and see, can you lift the foot up off the floor? Like that. Now, if you're finding this hard, if you bring your hands in front, it'll make it a bit easier. So take a breath in, lift it up, and then bring it back down. Huge breath in, press into the floor, lift it up, and down it goes. One more big breath in. The cramp. Yeah, in the give them a rest. Wiggle them from side to side. Hip flexors cramp a lot. It's not a bad thing that it cramps. A lot of time with mobility work, cramping is a sign that we're using a muscle that we haven't used before. And so as long as we're not like agonizing pain, just feeling a little bit of cramp just says you're working it hard. Cool. Let's do the other one. There is one with this where you lift your leg up over a block, but I just don't feel like doing that today. So let's start off getting it quite straight. So your knees quite open. Yeah, if you feel like this, that's okay to press the heel down, press the heel away. Huge breath in, press the foot down. Exhale, let it go. Big breath in, press the foot down, and then release. One more big breath in. Press the heel down, and then let go. Now we're going to do the lifty thing. Breath in, and then bring it down. Big breath in, and down it comes. Do this one, bring it up and bring it down slowly if we can. Big breath in, and down. Roll your knees from side to side. Is that horrible? Yeah, so not bad, that one. Depends on the strength of your hip flexors in comparison to the kind of rest of your legs. But the trick sort of with this one, is that it's a way of sort of like focusing on lifting the leg out because we don't actually do it very often. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on hamstrings, the bit that kind of everybody wants to stretch. Kind of most of the time people stretch it in a kind of a where they're trying to fight those muscles. You won't fight them, they're too strong. So I'm going to show you what I do and we'll all do it. Let me show you first. Lying down, always a great start because I can't see what anybody else is doing. You could all be sleeping now, so it's fine. I'm going to bring one knee up to the chest. I'm going to hold on to the back of my leg and I'm going to let the leg go floppy. On an inhale, and take a big breath in and then exhale. Straighten the leg out. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, straighten the leg out. Gonna do that a million times. No, actually, not a million times. Let's play with it. So grab hold of your leg. This is the thing that some people find hard to grab hold of the back of their leg. I was taught you can grab hold of your leggings, but people have really nice, expensive leggings. People don't want to do that. You can put a belt around the back. That's another option for that. So big breath in. Exhale, lengthen and straighten that leg out. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale. A few of those. You're working on feeling that muscle at the front of your leg, working to straighten the leg out. You might notice over the few breaths it gets a little bit easier. Or it doesn't. It never seems to get easier for me. And then let go of that leg. Remember that we've got to do the other one. Sort of like grudgingly sort of do the other one. Bring that knee up to the chest. Big breath in. Exhale, lengthen that leg out. Inhale, bend the leg. Exhale, lengthen out. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, lengthen. Do that a few more times. And then bring both feet onto the floor. Rock your knees from side to side. Last thing we're going to do here is Baddha Konasana on the back. Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together. So it kind of looks like this. Same things apply if you feel like you need blocks underneath your knees here to make this pose feel better. Do that. If this pose does not feel great at all, another option is that you can bring your feet wider than your mat and roll the knees inward. Different thing altogether, but sort of does this, works on the same thing, weirdly enough. We're just working on feeling the feet, press them together, and taking some breaths into the hips and the belly. Keep pressing your feet together, or pressing them into the floor if you've got your knees caved in. If you're in Baddha Konasana, then use the hands to bring your knees together just a little bit. Just bring them out from that full extension thing. And then rock your knees from side to side. One more thing before Shavasana. Just one more thing. Start off with both feet on the floor, then lengthen that one leg. And what I want you to do is to push through the heel of that leg so that your knee is flattened out to the floor as much as feels good, and you feel your hip opening out too. So you're really pushing and straightening that leg out. There are a few breaths of pushing it out. almost like you're pushing on a wall or a block or something with that leg, letting that knee open out, letting the hip open out. See if you can do it and let all the other bits of your body be calm and relaxed and chilled and not part of it. Just pushing that foot in. Imagine that there's a little pressure pushing back against you, and you're just pushing out. Taking a few more breaths here. And then let go of that leg. Give it a wiggle. Give it a really good wiggle. Swap over. The other side. And bend that knee. Shake your knees out. Shavasana. Everybody's got their favorite Shavasana. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You know what it is. Find your favorite Shavasana. Is it okay if I turn the light off? Everybody okay with that? You're looking for your blanket there. just steal your mum's one. I'll wait for people to get sorted before I turn the light off. Got some draft under this door. Feel for getting into a place where you're comfy. Three, two, one. I'm going to turn the light off. Start to slowly deepen your breathing. Very slowly, very gently. I'm going to turn the light on. So if you've got your eyes open, I want to kind of keep them shut. 3, 2, 1. These are very blinky lights, these ones. Slowly making your way into a seated position. Or chilling out on the floor for as long as you want, really. Nobody saw that, but in Shavasana, I nearly sat on the chair that was here. There was no chair. Everybody's legs feel all worked out and like you've discovered muscles in your legs that you maybe kind of like haven't thought about for a while. Oh. Well, thank you very much for coming today, especially people who've kind of like come to both classes. That's really cool.